Most men think that love, effort, and consistency are enough. That if you just give her your time, your attention, your loyalty, she eventually see your worth. That if you stay available, text her back instantly, take her out, listen to her problems, and never make her doubt your presence, she'll choose you. But what if I told you, your very presence is the reason she lost attraction? This is the disturbing paradox. She craved your validation when it was scarce, and discarded it the moment it became predictable. Not because she's cruel, and not because you're not good enough, but because her psychology, like yours, is rooted in evolution, survival, and status detection. Let me break it down. Every man, at some point, meets the girl who shakes him. Not because she's the most beautiful, but because she triggers something primal. Maybe it's her mystery. Maybe it's her sudden interest in you when you're unavailable. Maybe it's how she makes you feel like you've finally been chosen. But then something shifts. You start investing more. You make time for her. You drop your plans. You message first. You become available, and she starts pulling away, not suddenly, subtly. Fewer replies, colder tone, longer response gaps. The warmth you felt begins to fade, and now you're confused. What changed? Here's what most men don't understand. Availability without challenge breeds emotional boredom. According to evolutionary psychologist David Buss, women are hardwired to detect status, strength, and selectiveness. A man who is overly available sends one subconscious message: I have no better options. You are my only source of meaning. To her primitive brain, that's a red flag, not because she wants you to play games, but because she instinctively respects men who value themselves more than they value approval. You think she'll reward you for being consistent. You believe that if you treat her well enough, she'll love you more. But this isn't a transaction. It's tension. It's polarity. It's the dance of the masculine and feminine. And the feminine craves tension. Not toxicity, but emotional unpredictability. Not chaos, but power. Here's the brutal truth. Women don't fall for men who are obsessed with them. They fall for men who are obsessed with their mission. Carl Jung once said, a man who has not faced his own shadow will project it onto the woman he loves. If your identity is built on her validation, your shadow is control. You'll start to text more when she doesn't reply. You'll apologize for things you didn't do. You'll panic. And she'll feel it. And once she feels your emotional neediness, the polarity dies. Think about this. She was obsessed with you when you were unpredictable, when you had purpose, when you didn't reply right away, when your attention was a gift, not a guarantee. Then you shifted. You thought, if I just show her how serious I am, she'll stay. But she doesn't want certainty, not all the time. She wants to feel your masculine edge, your boundaries, your priorities. She wants to feel like you could leave, but choose not to. That's power, and that power creates presence. When you dropped everything for her, she lost that tension. And with it, her desire. Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. You thought being good meant giving, but being good, being stoic, means standing still in the storm. Not swaying because someone pulls away. Not chasing what is running. Not begging to be chosen. You lost her not because you were too little, but because you gave too much. Without demand, without edge, without purpose. The masculine path is one of restraint, discipline, and selective energy. The moment you forgot that, you became predictable. And predictable is never powerful. But the story doesn't end here, because what happens when you finally pull back? When you stop explaining, stop overgiving, when you re-enter your purpose, and silence becomes your answer. That's when something unexpected happens. She comes back. Why? There's a moment every man remembers. The moment after rejection, when your stomach tightens, your thoughts spiral, and the silence between you and her feels like punishment. She stopped texting. She grew distant. You gave your best, and she vanished. But then, weeks pass, and without warning, a message. Hey, how have you been? I was just thinking about you. I miss our conversations. Suddenly, she's back, and you're confused, angry, hopeful. She left you in the cold, and now she's pulling you in again. Why? Because silence is not emptiness. In the masculine frame, silence is power, and to the feminine psyche, it's deeply unsettling. Let's break down the psychology behind her return, not from wishful thinking, but from emotional reality at her core. A woman's desire is fueled by uncertainty and contrast. This doesn't mean manipulation, it means movement. Feminine energy craves emotional highs and lows, like waves crashing and receding. A man who is too constant, too available, too safe, numbs that desire. He becomes emotionally invisible. But when you go silent, not as a tactic, but as a natural result of walking away from disrespect, something primal shifts. Your silence creates contrast. It triggers absence, and absence breeds curiosity. She starts wondering, why isn't he chasing me anymore? Did he move on? Was he stronger than I thought? That confusion opens the door to attraction, and in her world, a world that thrives on attention, social feedback, and emotional interaction, your absence is deafening. Before you were orbiting her. Now, she feels the void where your attention used to be. This is called frame reversal. Psychologically, whoever responds more, chases more, and seeks more, holds the weaker frame. When you stopped reacting, you broke the pattern. She expected you to fight for her approval. Instead, you vanished. And here's the key. She doesn't miss you. Not yet. She misses the version of herself she felt when she had your attention. She misses the power, the validation, the control. And now that you've gone silent, she's no longer in control. You are. Imagine a man. Let's call him Adam. Adam met a woman who immediately felt different. They clicked. Deep conversations, intense energy. He thought he'd found the one. So he gave, and gave, and gave until she grew distant. Texted less, cancelled plans, became cold. Adam panicked. He sent long texts, apologized for things he didn't do, asked if she was okay. She ignored him. So one day, Adam stopped, not to manipulate her, but because he was done negotiating his value. 2 weeks later, her name popped up on his phone. Just thinking about you. Hope you're good. But Adam had changed. She hadn't come back for love. She came back for control. She wanted the version of him that needed her. But that version was dead. This is the masculine transformation. You stop speaking, and suddenly your silence screams. Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow." Your why must be greater than any woman. When your life revolves around her, your silence is an act of punishment. But when your life revolves around purpose, your silence becomes indifference. And indifference is the most powerful form of masculine presence, because true detachment isn't pretending you don't care. It's knowing you'll be okay either way. That's what shakes her. She returns not because she loves you, but because your silence made her question her power. And a woman questioning her power is a woman who re-engages. So when she finally comes back, what should you do? Chase her again, fall into the same cycle, or hold your frame and make her earn the connection? That depends on your next move, and that's where the real power lies. When she returns after pulling away, most men make the same fatal mistake. They take it as a sign, a second chance, a redemption arc. But here's the brutal reality. Her return isn't always about love. Sometimes it's a test. Sometimes it's ego, and often it's survival. To understand what her return really means, you must look beyond her words and into her subconscious motives. You must see her not as the fantasy, but as the mirror. Because if you don't, you'll fall again. And this time, the crash will be worse. Let's be clear. Her message doesn't mean she regrets losing you. It often means she regrets losing control over you. Here's what most men overlook. She didn't reach out when you were desperate. She didn't call when you were begging for clarity. She didn't care when you needed closure. She only came back when you stopped needing her. That's not romance. That's power recalibration. Evolutionary biology tells us that humans, especially women, are wired for social advantage. The feminine thrives on connection, perception, emotional leverage. So when a man she once controlled becomes unreachable, her inner alarm sounds. Not because she loves you, because she can't place you anymore. And humans hate uncertainty more than pain. When she comes back, she's not just texting you, she's testing you. She wants to know, did you wait for her? Will you still fall at her feet? Is your self still tied to her attention? Most men fail this test. They jump back in, start giving again, start hoping again. But a man who's truly transformed doesn't just forgive. He observes. He watches patterns. He notices if her energy is genuine or just reactive. And, more importantly, he doesn't chase an old dynamic with a new chance. As the Stoic principle goes, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Marcus Aurelius, you don't owe her revenge. You don't owe her access. You owe yourself the discipline to protect the version of you that healed in her absence. It wasn't your good heart. It wasn't your effort. It wasn't even your presence. It was the feeling of being wanted. She missed the mirror you held up to her, the image of someone who was desired, pursued, validated. And when that mirror shattered, when you withdrew, she felt the void. That void isn't love. It's withdrawal. And withdrawal isn't a reunion. It's a symptom. A craving for comfort. Not connection. So what do you do when she returns? You don't punish her. You don't play cold games. You let your boundaries speak, louder than your words. Manet gets the "I miss you" text. He replies instantly, happy, forgiving, open-hearted. She feels his neediness return, and once again she disappears. He's left more broken than before. Man begets the same text. He pauses, reflects, doesn't react. He has no bitterness, but no urgency either. When they speak, he's composed, calm, unattached. She feels something shift. The dynamic is no longer hers to control. This is the test most men never see. Can you hold your center when the storm returns? Because sometimes, the storm isn't her leaving. It's her coming back to see if you've changed. And if you haven't, she will leave again. Only this time, with even less respect. But what if she's actually sincere? What if her return isn't a test, but a realization? How can you tell the difference? That's where we go next. You've stayed silent. she came back. Now the question burns through your gut. Is this real, or just another loop in her game? This is where most men crack. They want so badly to believe that her message, her call, her sudden "I miss you," means she's changed, that the pain you felt wasn't wasted, that she finally sees your value. But before you act, you need clarity, because the truth is, most men don't get played by women. They get played by their own emotional blindness. Let's unravel this. When she returns, she'll say all the right things. I've been thinking about you. I've changed. I realized I made a mistake. I didn't know how good I had it. But don't listen to what she says. Watch what she sacrifices, because true remorse carries a price. It requires effort, accountability, and discomfort. A woman who truly regrets losing you will take full responsibility, without blame shifting or excuses. Show consistency over time, not just a one-night vulnerability. Accept your boundaries, even if it frustrates her ego. Match your pace, not rush into where she left off. Most women won't do this, not because they're evil, but because what they miss is how you made them feel, not who you actually are. There's a difference between missing the warmth of your presence and respecting the fire of your growth. Here's a tactic used by emotionally grounded men. Frame reversal. When she returns, don't just assess if you want her back. Assess if she's worthy of being in your upgraded space. Ask yourself, does she align with your mission now? Would you still be drawn to her if you met her today? Or are you just addicted to the memory? Is she entering your world, or trying to pull you back into hers? Because the woman who truly respects your masculine growth won't just say, "I miss you." She'll slow down to meet your new rhythm. And if she resists your boundaries, she'll never wanted you. She wanted your attention without earning it. Let's take an example from an overlooked place: military relationships. When a soldier returns home after a long deployment, his world has changed. He's hardened, disciplined, focused. If his woman hasn't grown in the same direction, the relationship feels foreign. Likewise, when you've been gone emotionally, working on your mind, healing your identity, becoming your energy becomes foreign to the woman who left you. And now she feels insecure, because she doesn't know where she fits anymore. A sincere woman will ask, she listen, she adapt. A manipulative one, she guilt you, mock your new personality, or try to re-trigger your old self through nostalgia. Your job is to see through it all without emotion, but with awareness. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Don't imagine what her return might mean. Observe what it actually reveals. The only true signal of growth is consistency through difficulty. So if her energy wavers when you don't respond instantly, if her interest drops when you stop flattering her, if she ghosts again the moment she realizes you won't chase, that was never a reunion. That was a test you passed by, not reacting. And here's the twist. Sometimes, when you stop hoping, you finally start seeing. But if, by chance, her return is real, you'll know, not by how loud she speaks, but by how silently she respects your boundaries. And if she passes that test, if her return feels aligned, honest, grounded, then there's one final challenge left. Can you let her back in without losing the man you became without her? There's a calm that follows the storm. After the pain, after the pullback, after the return, there is stillness. But it's deceptive, because this is the most dangerous point for a man, not when she left, but when she's finally back. Now, Your mind is tempted, your body remembers, and your ego quietly starts to crave her warmth again. But this is your final trial. Can you let her back into your life, without letting her become your life again? Most men who take a woman back try to rebuild the past. They want the same comfort, the same intensity, the same rhythm. But what they don't realize is, she didn't leave the man you are today. She left the man you used to be, needy, soft, emotionally accessible at all hours, without boundaries or vision. And if you revert back to him, she'll feel it. That's the terrifying irony. The moment she senses the old you creeping back, the man who gave her everything, the man who orbited her world, she leave again, not consciously, not cruelly, but because her instincts will once again detect weakness. And feminine energy, by its very nature, flows toward strength, not familiarity. This means your only path is reconstruction, not of the relationship, of your identity. When you are driven by purpose, no woman, no matter how beautiful, soft, or sincere, becomes the center of your world. She becomes a part of your world, not its orbit. This is what Stoicism demands. It's not emotional coldness, it's emotional discipline. You feel the pull, you allow the connection, but you never surrender your sovereignty. You remain the mountain, calm, immovable. She is the storm, wild, beautiful, unpredictable. And the moment you allow the storm to reshape the mountain, you lose yourself. So she's back, and she's real, and her actions match her words. Then fine. Let her stay, but only if she respects the man you became. Without her, let's revisit Adam, the man who was once ghosted, who went silent, and who finally got the "I miss you" text. When she came back, he didn't jump, he listened. He watched, he kept his routine. He didn't cancel his gym session for her. He didn't text every night like before. He didn't open up immediately, and slowly. She adjusted, not because he played games, but because she realized he had boundaries. Now, the very boundaries that once made her leave, now made her stay. Why? Because she now had something to respect. You are not here to be loved for your softness. You are not here to be chosen because you're available. You are not here to chase temporary validation. You are here to build a life so meaningful, so full of quiet power, that anyone who enters it feels privileged to stay. And whether she returns, whether she stays, whether she changes, it doesn't matter as much as this. Will you stay loyal to the man you became without her? That's the final choice. And only you can make it.